let's look at game theory in Among Us. So in this game, the players will be black, red, orange, and cyan. So let's look at the decisions of black first. So black can choose between going alone and looking to group. And then for red, red's decision will be to go alone and look to group as well, and the same for orange. So these decisions they make will all affect the outcome of the game. But since this is Among Us, there is an imposter among us, and the imposter is Cyan. Cyan has a different set of choices. Cyan can either go for the kill or don't kill yet. And this combination, these decisions of the four players will each represent a different payoff for each one of them. So it will look something like this. Black will have two choices, and from those two choices, red will have another two choices. And from the two choices of red to orange, orange will have two choices, and then cyan will have a further two choices. So this game will have a total of 16 different payoffs, depending on the combination of choices by the players. So in text form, it goes something like this. So if the imposter goes for the kill, -10 if the crewmate is alone, +10 for the imposter if two or more crewmates are alone. And if only a single crewmate chooses to win a group, -5 for him. And if two or more crewmates are blue, -5 for the imposter. If the imposter doesn't go for the kill, +10 for the crewmates who are alone, -5 if the crewmates are grouped, and -10 otherwise. So if two crewmates are grouped, the payoff of those two crewmates are 8. If all crewmates are grouped, their payoff is 5. So let's look at this example of black, red, orange, cyan. So if black and red chooses to group, and orange goes alone and the imposter goes for the kill, black and red will have a payoff of 8. Orange -10 and imposter -5. So black and red has a payoff of 8 because they are grouped together. It's not 10, which is the maximum they could get, because 10 means that they completed all the tasks quickly. Since they are together, they will complete the task, but much slower because they have to wait for each other. But orange is dead, so he gets a payoff -10. The imposter gets a payoff -5 because since black and red are grouped together, so they know that if orange dies, it's very likely to be cyan. So that's why the imposter has a payoff of -5. So the figure will look like something like this. So if you're looking for a solution for what a crewmate should do in this situation, the solution is always look to group. This will provide the best payoff if you are a crewmate.
Mathematics for efficiency. Using Jakarta's algorithm, which is an algorithm for finding the shortest path in between nodes in a graph, we must first follow these steps. Label the starting point as 0. Label each vertex connected to the initial vertex with its distance to it, then box the smallest number. From this current vertex, consider the distance to each connected vertex. If the distance is less than the distance already written in the vertex, then cross out the previous distance and replace it with a new one. If there was no distance previously written, then write the distance plainly. Repeat steps 3 and 4 until the destination is boxed. This shows the map that will be used and the task that will be completed. This is a visual representation of what the map looks like simplified, which also shows the distance in between the nodes. To the right is a legend, which shows what the numbers represent. The first task is located in the admin. So we must go from the cafeteria to the admin. This is a visual representation of what it would look like. In this slide, we can see that there are multiple vertices that have the same distance. But since our destination is 11, we choose 0 to 11, which garners a distance of 2. The next task is located in the storage. This is a visual representation of going from the admin to the storage. Since there is only one new vertex connected to 11, which is already the storage, we can conclude that their distance is 1. The next task is located in electricals. This shows a visual representation that shows that we must go from storage to electrical. There are many vertices connected to 7, but since 12 and 7 has a direct connection to each other and it has a small value, we will choose that connection and conclude that their distance is 3. The next task is at oxygen. We must go from electricals to oxygen. 12 has 2 vertices connected to it, but 7 has a smaller distance, so we go from there. Then, 7 has a lot of vertices connected to it, but if we consider that our destination is 10, then we have 2 options, 13 and 8. Out of the 2, 8 has a smaller distance, so it is the next vertex. Then, 8 has only one vertex connected to it, which is 13, and has a distance of 1. Then, from here, there is a direct connection from 13 to 10, which is also the smallest vertex connected to 13. So we can conclude that from 12 to 10 there is a distance of 9 units. The summary of the path taken by player Black, which goes from 0 or the cafeteria, then to admins or 11, then to storage or 7, then to electricals or 12, then back to storage, then going to 8, which is communications, then going to 13, which is shields, then finally reaching its last task, which is in oxygen, 10. The total distance covered while completing the task is a total of 15 units. The path that Black took from start to finish can be represented by these numbers: 0, 11, 7, 12, 7, 8, 13, and 10.
So, in the game, the players use the shift cipher to send out a decoded message to prevent detection from other players or the player that they found suspicious. So, the shift cipher that they used one shift. So, the original sequence of A, B, C, D, E, move it once and it will become B, C, D, E, F. So, the new code will use the new alphabet, which is the B, C, D, E, F. Red had said O, P, U, and F, which translated to not me. However, Cyan was able to detect it and replied with a cipher as well, which was SFE-TBT, which meant red sauce.
Based on the entire exchange that occurred, as black, I can make a deduction on who is innocent or suspicious using mathematics as a language. First, let's analyze Cyan's statement. Cyan states the premise: if a crewmate sees a dead body, then they will report it. She observes that Red reported the body. Therefore, she concludes he is not an imposter. This statement follows the formula: if P then Q, Q therefore P. This is an example of affirming the conclusion, which is a logical fallacy. Now let's analyze Red's statement. Red states the premise: if someone killed Orange, then that person would have had to be alone. Red reveals that he was with Black most of the round, so he concludes he did not kill Orange. This statement follows the formula: if P then Q, not Q, therefore not P. This is an example of modus tollens, which is a logical argument. Next, Cyan states the implication: Red is the imposter because she saw him come from the admin. So, she makes the accusation that whoever killed Orange went into the admin. However, from what we've seen, we know that her proposition is false. Now, analyzing the last statement given by Red, he argues that he never went into admin. He states the implication that the only person that for sure went to in-reactor is Cyan because she reported the body. So, he accuses Cyan that she could be the imposter. From what we've seen, we know that what Red said is actually true. So, Red has exposed the false proposition said by Cyan and also stated a new implication, which is true. And so finally, we can already have a deduction using mathematics as a language. Cyan is suspicious because she has only given incorrect statements using fallacies such as affirming the conclusion, and she even proposed a false proposition. On the other hand, Red is innocent because Red has given logical statements using valid reasoning such as modus tollens, and he even challenged the false proposition by Cyan by stating a new implication. Now, analyzing the last statement given by Red, he argues that he never went into admin. He states the implication that the only person that for sure went to in-reactor is Cyan because she reported the body. So, he accuses Cyan that she could be the imposter. From what we've seen, we know that what Red said is actually true. So, Red has exposed the false proposition said by Cyan and also stated a new implication, which is true. And so finally, we can already have a deduction using mathematics as a language. Cyan is suspicious because she has only given incorrect statements using fallacies such as affirming the conclusion, and she even proposed a false proposition. On the other hand, Red is innocent because Red has given logical statements using valid reasoning such as modus tollens, and he even challenged the false proposition by Cyan by stating a new implication.